I'm Savannah.
I'm Corinne.
And I'm Tristan. So, our topic that we chose for our group project was substance use disorder treatment in young adults and adolescents. Next slide, please. So, the selected topic and population that we chose was young adults and adolescents ages 15 to 25. So, kind of the college age students and later high school years. So, the evidence-based intervention that we chose was substance use disorder treatment and counseling services. And the issues at hand were looking into was substance use disorder symptoms affecting young adults specifically.
Oh, hi, sorry. Today I'm gonna share what we learned from interviewing Lisa Diagostino. She's the owner of Sunflower Psychotherapy as well as a therapist. We asked her about her private practice, her mission, her boundaries, and the service she offers. We talked with Lisa about some of the positives of being in private practice. She told us that one of the things she loves most is being able to make her own schedule. The flexibility allows her to keep a good balance between work and personal life. She also expressed that she gets to choose whether to accept insurance or not, which lets her structure her business in a way that works best for her and her clients. And she mentioned how much she appreciates not having a boss. She enjoys the independence of making her own decisions. Another thing she talked about was being able to offer sliding scale fees for clients who might need more affordable options which is something she values. She also shared the challenges. She mentioned that when she first started, she really had to build everything up from the ground. She had to find her own space, decorate it, create a client base, and figure out how to get her name out there. She told us that advertising herself wasn't easy and it took some time to figure out what worked. And because referrals are such a big part of private practice, she has to continually maintain strong relationships with other providers in the community. So even though it's rewarding, she made it clear that it definitely takes effort. Next slide, please. We then asked Lisa about the mission behind Sunflower Psychotherapy. She said her mission is to create a space where clients feel supported and truly heard. She talks about walking alongside clients rather than directing them, and she sees therapy as a partnership. She also shared pieces of her background, raising her kids, working in addiction recovery, teaching skiing, and all of those experiences has shaped the kind of therapist she is today. We also discussed ethical boundaries, and Lisa takes these very seriously. She said that her job is to stay professional even when clients come in with a lot of emotion. Outside the session, she keeps clear boundaries, no dual relationships, no blending personal and professional lives. She also emphasized the importance of HIPAA and protecting client confidentiality. To her, boundaries are what keep therapy safe and effective, both for the client and the therapist. Um, we then moved on to then what she offers. Lisa works with individuals, couples, teens, and families. She uses, oh, I'm sorry, can you go to the next slide? Okay, sorry. She uses different modalities depending on what the client needs. She talked about using EMDR trauma for work and CBT for shifting negative thinking patterns and rational approaches to help families communicate and heal. We wrapped up our interview by asking Lisa how her work connects to substance use disorder in youth. That was our main topic. She works closely with teens in Park City, and she said the biggest thing is treating teens with respect, talking to them, not down at them. She said trust is everything when working with teenagers, and taking the time to understand them makes a huge difference. She also told us how important it is to involve parents and families in the process because healing is so much more effective when the whole family is part of the team. Overall, our interview with Lisa gave us a really meaningful look into what private practice is like and how a therapist builds a space that is warm, ethical, and supportive for the clients.
It was really, really cool to interview Lisa and hear from her experience out in the field in a private practice, also coming from working at a treatment center previously. She also worked at Wasatch Crest and worked with people in substance use disorder and recovery, as well as teens in recovery. It's just, as an aspiring social worker, it was really, really cool to hear the different levels of where she came from. Um, when we were talking about the advancement opportunities, she said that for the most part, while working in a treatment center, that looked like maybe moving up to the clinical director role instead of being a therapist that works underneath the clinical director, as being a way to advance in that way. Also, being the clinical director's better than, not better than, but different than being just the IOP therapist as well. So there's advancement opportunities at treatment centers for sure for a therapist, but another level of advancement, in her opinion, and honestly mine, was opening the private practice where she is now. And she has her own schedule. Like Corinne was saying, she has her own rules, she has her own structure. And in my opinion, I think that's an amazing advancement. And I would love one day to figure out and see what that's like. Um, she also said that with her job of great responsibility also comes with that satisfaction of helping her clients and the relationship she has with them in that professional setting, watching them grow and helping them rebuild their lives and build their lives again, recovering from substance use. And also, like Corinne said as well, integrating teens and their families into like one system, and how important it is to include family members with teens who are going through recovery and substance use disorder. Just how when teens are separate from their families, just that divide isn't good for the family. And it was really inspiring, honestly, to hear her talk about bringing them together as a unit. So, as far as the salary went for Lisa and her experience, she talked about how working at a treatment center, she was paid around $29 an hour versus her private practice. Though she is doing that part time, it's $65 an hour to $160 an hour. Like Corinne said, there's that sliding scale that she does for her clients. And then she recalled the group practicing like IOP being around $60 an hour. So that was also really cool to hear. And in conclusion, just some additional information from her interview questions that we did with her. She talked about how important it is for furthering treatment um, with each individual, as far as when they move on from her and individual therapy. Like AA is really important, 12-step is really important, and how sometimes group IOP is important as well. She also talked about psychoeducation and just how it's so necessary for probably everyone in recovery, but especially teens, to hear for the maybe the first time those coping skills, and how important it is to talk about feelings, and how immensely hard that is for anybody, but especially kids and teens and those young adults who just maybe don't know, have the tools to know what to do with their feelings. And just as the role of a therapist, how teaching that is just so important. Um, she also talked about how planning out trigger and craving plans with clients is really important. So they know kind of just what to do when the situation arises where they're feeling triggered or peer pressured and stuff. Um, just also, as well, back to emotions and how hard those are for this age group to process. And she expressed, I loved how she said it needs to be taught to talk and feel all of it, which is the hardest thing in the world for anybody, but especially teens and young adults. in my opinion. And yeah, back to AA, she said that furthering stuff like that is really important. And then also that Al-Anon is really important for families. If your teen is going to AA, how important it is for them, the parent, to also go to Al-Anon, or those family members, so that they can also get support as well and show up in a way where other people know and have experience in showing up for family members who are in recovery. So that is the conclusion of our presentation.